Okay, hi. My name is Jaron Hardesty, and I'm going to be responding to Sarah's paper. The title of her paper was The Opinions Toward the EU. Um, I think that for the beginning, it was a pretty good opening paragraph, but I think maybe instead of saying the EU has been in an economic crisis for some time now, maybe you should either rephrase that or just be more specific and say just specifically how long the EU has been in crisis for. Um, Moving on, I thought that maybe you should define the Euroscepticism a little more. I mean, I think you can tell by the name of it what it means, but maybe just go ahead and describe it anyway since you use the title throughout or you use the term throughout. That way there won't be any confusion. And the same for Euro enthusiasm, which again, I mean, it's pretty evident, but just to add a little detail, um, more detail, I guess you could say. Um, I thought that your body paragraphs were pretty good, but I think maybe you should add some transition words to the beginning of each paragraph, just that way so they flow better and they don't just seem to kind of jump from idea to idea. Um, let's see, what else? I think maybe you should expand on that. Let's see, what page is it? The second page at the top where you say there's an argument that believes voters are only voting for the smaller, more radical parties to show their discontent for how the EU is running and that they do not matter in the long run. I think that that's like a good idea for your paper, since your paper's opinions toward the EU. And I think maybe you should expand on that more throughout to get you know more length and more clarity on your topic as well. Um, let's see what else. Oh, and then I noticed like towards the end of that second paragraph or the first paragraph on the second page, you didn't capitalize EU. Just something to think about for when you're finalizing your paper. Um, I'm trying to find it because I saw it when I read it the first time, but now I can't find it as I'm looking for it again. But I know at one point you said like the person lost their job and just like a little picky thing, but it lost his or her job just for grammatical purposes. Let's see what else. And then I'm not exactly sure what page this is on, but where you say, with the distress in the EU, there came rise to radical party period 5-star movement, which won the major vote in 2013. I think maybe you should include that with the first sentence because 5-star movement, which won major vote in 2013, is a sentence fragment. That way you can just connect those two and make it a sentence. Um, let's see what else. Oh, and one thing with your in-text citations, I maybe this is just I don't know. This was never the way I was taught to do it, but when I do an in-text citation, I put the author's name and the page number that it was found on. That was just the way I was always taught to do it. And the only time I was told anyway you wouldn't need to state the author's last name again would be if you said like in the sentence you mentioned the author's name. But I mean, you could always look into whether or not that's actually correct or not. Because I noticed that I think you seem to introduce your source through one in-text citation, and then after that you just use the page number. Which I mean, again, that could be correct, but that's never the way I was taught to do it. Um, but I thought, I mean, your citations were good, and you had plenty of them throughout the assignment. And I liked how you described like each of the conflicts. Like you started with, let's see, what did you begin with? Hungary, I think, and then you went to Italy, or maybe vice versa. But either way, and then you went to Romania, and then you talked about something you mentioned in your intro that the Romania has the Euro enthusiasm, which I thought that was good since that kind of reconnects to what you were talking about at the beginning. Sorry, which I thought was good to do to bring back to your main point. Let's see what else. And then you also, going back to your intro again, you point out that Romania lacks Euroscepticism, which again ties back to your point. And I think your closing paragraph, or what you currently have as your closing paragraph, was pretty good. And that sorry, lost my train of thought. You acknowledge both sides of it. The one sees it as something that's gone too far, and the other sees it, they're helping people with their financial and economic problems. Maybe talk in your closing. I mean, I know you mentioned it a little throughout the essay, but maybe touch on the austerity practices again that each member state was forced to implement to kind of pay for the bailouts that you mentioned. And I think maybe, which I know this is just a rough draft, and I'm sure you're going to add more length to it, as I am mine as well, but maybe think of a stronger concluding sentence. Because right now, I mean, which again, I know it's just a draft, but you have smaller states have more aid from the EU, while bigger states are asked to give more aid. Which, I mean, I think that is a pretty general conclusion that could be drawn from everything that you've stated, but I think maybe just something a little more conclusive would be good. What else? But yeah, I mean, just like scanning through your paper again, it was good and it was informative. But I think that you kind of jump from idea and topic to idea and topic, like in another paragraph, without transitioning from one to the next. I mean, you could just use a simple transition word, a transition phrase, or just some sort of acknowledgement that you're moving from one member state and one idea to the next idea. And obviously, I mean, you don't have to use a transition word every single sentence or every single topic sentence, even. But I just think something that would break up the flow, or, well, not really break up the flow, but I guess create a flow between your ideas. What else? But yeah, I mean, I think there were just a few other grammatical things. I highlighted them when I was looking at it, but now I can't seem to find what I highlighted. But there are a few like clunky sentences, and I think at one point you wrote gauge, Gauge, but you spelled it Gage. Just something to like maybe search for and look to fix that for your final. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. And I think, and this is maybe just more of a stylistic point, but I think I would also include the page numbers at the top just for flow with the paper. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good paper.